Nothing major as we enter series number 4 out of 10 for us today. This PTR event continuing with the blue Terran player in the bottom right corner. He is 1-0, 2-0 in the group. It is ByuN, and he's taking on the player who's 2-0 and 4-0. It is Goblin. 2-0 matches, 4-0 maps. Beating Classic and Rogue so far. His third Korean opponent of the day. Can he continue to bring the magic? Let's find out. We'll just take a quick moment to say, if you guys are enjoying the stream, do consider supporting. If you're on the Twitch channel, you can follow the channel to see when we're live in the future. If you're on YouTube, you can like the stream. Just scroll below, give it a quick little like. Goes a long way to helping. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Helps us out a whole bunch. And of course, this is a WardiTV Tournament. These events do not happen without you guys. We fund these events with you guys supporting us. So if you guys aren't really enjoying this event and you would like to see more of the same, do consider subscribing to the channels with your primes and so on, and just, you check out the YouTube options for supporting. And most importantly, just a quick mention to the Patreon page, patreon.com/WardiTV. Any support on the Patreon, 100% of that goes directly into tournament prize pools. Any other way that you support also helps us to run these tournaments still as well. If you want to guarantee that the money you send us goes into the prize pool 100%, Patreon is a great place for that. I know that's a popular option amongst a bunch of people. So do check that out. And thank you for supporting us and being here today as we work our way through Group B of this PTR event. As we do have Side 4 and Nexus coming through. We're getting to the point where calling something a PTR event probably doesn't matter. We're pretty close to probably this seeing the live service. So next week I think we're going to start running a bit of a bigger tournament and just kind of, we will host it on the PTR if the PTR is still up. But the moment that this goes live, we're just going to continue with it being live as well. So that is the current plan as the Marine goes over and pushes that probe away. So yeah, probe gets pushed back. As I'm probably going to say your name wrong, but Sia or Saya, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. Hell yeah, thank you so much. We just updated the YouTube memberships actually, which we kind of reduced the baseline price. So if you just want to access the emote and support a little bit, you can do so at a little bit of a cheaper cost than before. We have some additional tiers based on how much you want to support, all of it helping us to run new stuff. Thank you so much for the new membership over on YouTube. Thank you. It's only like the second time I've ever seen that pop up in like a live stream, by the way, on YouTube. It's like a big green box. It says new member. It's very cool. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. As our adept. Going to be looking to create some initial issues here with the Marines. So trying to get through. The Marines step back. The adept will shade into a wall off. The bunker is on the way. And I think the bunker will be up long before this becomes a problem. The Marine's going to aggressively step into the adept once again. As the Twilight Council is going to finish up in a moment from Goblin. That is his initial tech. Wondering what the choice will be. This feels like a very high gateway kind of pressure map, right? I mean, 4 gateways. At the very least, I'd say 3. Just for the blinking potential into this very big main base over here. Or from here, while also hitting the natural. So many good options. I think this is not really, to me, like a 2-gate expanding map. Just because, like, obviously you can do that, but I feel like it's just so good for you to put some blink pressure on. I feel like you're almost always going to get some amount of value out of that. So I would love to see an extra gate here from Goblin. And yeah, there's 2 more gateways. So going to go to 4-gate blink. That's exactly what I'm asking for. Gateways, pressure, put some damage out. I think that's an amazing way to get set up right now. As Adele Chusakovsky, how you doing? Thank you so much for the 16-month resub. Welcome back. Appreciate it. Thank you, as always, for supporting. Fun to read your name once a month or so. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support. Thank you. I feel like it's not been that long since I read your name out. So maybe that's just my mind playing tricks on me. We do have the bunker set up at the front. The Stimpak and Combat Shield continue to produce in. The 2 Adepts will shade by. That's a lot of bio. This was a bio-focused opening, no factory. The issue with that for the Protoss is going to be obviously like the bio's going to get aggressive. I mean, let's see how this goes, because these are going to be stimmed Marines, but they're going to be without a medevac. So any stim is pretty final in terms of like, you got to go through and do something, because that damage is going to be dealt. Stalkers are going to have blink soon, but not yet. Stim not yet available either, so the Stalkers will just try and get some kills as we start here. This is the correct idea. Shave off this army a little bit. Continue to move over the other side. Marines taking some hits still. Marauders trying to chase. A few more Stalkers coming about. Marines in the front taking a lot of damage. Now Blink available, though. The Blink away initially was okay, not perfect. We're actually going to lose some Stalkers. There are batteries in this natural. I think that's pretty much as far forward as we can get, so that's not going to go very far at all. That is going to be that for the moment as these Stalkers continue to come back the other direction. Yeah, I mean, we should be able to kill these units up. The big thing here from ByuN is that you're taking up so much time, right? As you're taking up time right here, that's going to go a big way in your favor. These Stalkers are not going to be being aggressive on a map that really favors the Protoss aggression as well, so that's a big plus. I think that's a really big net positive at the moment. Stalkers on the other side get a couple of SCVs. Like I say, for ByuN, I think just keeping that army back for a long time is big. Now Stalkers do get to the other side, but we lost a fair few units here as Goblin as well, right? I mean, this is 2 Adepts and 4 Stalkers. He actually killed quite a lot, right? 18 ByuN units in total, 2 of those being Marauders. Pretty darn neat. Stalker unloading again, a little bit of Marine Marauder coming over. That bunker will fall, a couple more Marines being shot down as... Yeah, I mean, the Stalker's just not in good enough numbers, I think, to really stick around here any longer. And that concussive shells is done, so the Stalkers have to be very careful. If they get caught, they could definitely end up in some trouble. Marauder coming back over, +1 attack coming up on the engineering bay. And the Prism will unload a couple of Stalkers into the back of this mineral line. 2 SCVs go down. Marine Marauder going to get there again. The Prism gets pushed over to the side. Couple more Stalkers taking a couple more shots. Still got that +1 attack upgrade coming through. The Observer gets scanned and killed, so that's going to be another win for ByuN. I'm a little bit afraid that Goblin is bleeding out a lot of supply here, and if ByuN starts to get across the map, bleeding out supply in a, against a biocentric Terran, it's a very fast way to lose a game. That much is for sure, right? Yeah, and these Stalkers just keep dying. Goblin really struggling to get these Stalkers to be effective. I will say, I think when Goblin kind of gets up to a good Stalker count, he's great. But like I said, I think these early stages of the game are going to be the big problem for him. And I do think as well, maybe Goblin, if he recognizes that that's a problem, maybe we go into something like a Phoenix opener and then play like Phoenix Colossus or so. That may not be a terrible kind of route to kind of take this. This is actually not going to be terrible for Goblin either, though. Look at those medevacs out of energy, so that stimming so often has now actually caused them to have some issues. Stalker should be able to blink after one more time for a couple more kills there. The Prism trying to stay active towards the main base. A couple of Vikings showing up. I mean, that's dead supply in some regard. It will zone out the Prism, but it does mean that you've made Vikings against, someone who is, not really going to need, you're not going to need those. More medevacs would have been nice, especially when some of your medevacs are already low. We're going to have the drop in the natural Goblin. However, that means that there's just not a lot of units over here. Marauders only remain. The Colossus popped out, but it's going to die as Goblin's not paying enough attention. Widowmine's there as well. Going to be crazy as Goblin now has to deal with this attack on one side while dealing damage on the other. I feel like he's just got to keep going right now as he doesn't really have much at home. He's going to warp in a good group of Stalkers there. We're going to fight over here. A lot of SCVs going down. He already lost a ton of probes. A chaotic situation. 16 probes, 14 SCVs killed so far. He's going to start targeting the natural. These 2 medevacs get away. They'll just go sit in the corner. Will we actually lose this orbital? Surely not. Sentry doesn't have energy to do anything impactful. We'll knock down one more medevac, though. We're actually killing a few of those Marauders. That's a step in the right direction. A freebie of a Viking gets gifted there as well. A couple more Stalkers getting shots on the Marauders. SCVs will have to repair the orbital. As Goblin, has he done enough? He's got a lot of units at home, but he has to defend those medevacs. He can't let those continue to do too much else, right? You gotta keep those under wraps. Don't let them do any more right now. 47 and 43 workers. As we actually set off those Widow Mines, this is where you gotta be really careful because those Stalkers have just blinked and those Marauders have concussive shells. He decides to end up just fighting and trading. It's a lot of Stalkers going down. Don't get me wrong, he got some kills. Was that overall worthwhile? Well, that's a big question mark. Like I said, that Colossus was such a big factor. I really felt like that Colossus could have been saved as well. I think he's so busy in this game. As now he actually goes for another warping across the map. I feel like if you're doing this, bring that first round of Zealots backwards. Let all of these units fight in open space. Now you've warped in. Now you're not doing much else. We do intercept that medevac that shows up there. Stalkers have already blinked, so they're going to struggle to blink away. Colossus and the Zealot will play defense against the drop as Goblin loses a few probes, running into the natural. Going to have to blink away from this Widow Mine, which allows you to kill both of them. Although he only gets one, doesn't stick around long enough for the other. Well, Stalker's actually going to try and get on top of the medevac here this time around. Oh, he actually turns it back around. He will lose the medevac. I mean, the Marauders will go for a couple more kills, including a probe. At the same time, we're still pushing at the natural. These two testing each other to the maximum right now. One Stalker goes down. The Stalkers continue to back away. We step up once again. The Widow Mine just going to go off, but we blink away from it. Those mines have been annoying because they're being forced in the blinks. And just forcing the blink is a big factor, right? Because the moment you force the blink is the moment where you then have blink on cooldown. So you can't then trade as easily against the bio units from that point onwards. Overall, Goblin still on 3 bases and now taking a 4th, and I think that tells you where we're at. I mean, Goblin's going to try and move forward to his 3rd CC. It is available, it's just not in position. But Goblin's showing up with his main army, and this main army showing up is going to be an issue for ByuN. Stalkers and a lot of Zealots. Medivacs that are really just low on energy, not a lot of healing available. Every stim you're forcing is really serious damage to this Terran army. The Medivacs cannot just heal up out of nowhere. You're going to have a Colossus showing up soon, as well as the Vikings. Looks like they got rid of the Prism, but the Zealots are still going to go for a pretty huge amount of damage. SCVs are dropping in the main base. At the same time, we're jumping on this army in the front. Goblin target firing Medivacs as he goes. He's going to run out of Zealots. That's the point where you probably do just want to turn around. He goes for another Medivac, gets it. Reinforcing Zealot showing up, and we're going to see a Guardian Shield here as well to help the one Colossus with some splash damage to provide. That Terran army already hurting again. Every stim is going to hurt right now. Would have loved to force field off that sentry before we had to turn away. Marauder heavy army going to be very good as we chase down Goblin's army. Goblin tries to target fire Marines down with this Colossus. So many low HP Marauders. The Zealots will try and chase the Marauders, get the cleanup ByuN. I mean, he just doesn't have much to go across the map with, and Goblin should, in theory, be able to rebuild much more easily. He's got a better economy coming out of this. Crazy couple of moments as Goblin and ByuN play a scrappy game. Number 1 here on Whispers of Gold so far. And scrappy really is the name and the aim of it. As we have the bio gathering back up. Couple Widow Mines going to go join up with that bio as well. The +1 armor finishing, as ByuN will take 1-1 to a +2 attack upgrade from Goblin. Crazy couple of moments as ByuN, his army supply is growing so fast despite, I mean, he does have mules as well, so maybe the economy wasn't that bad for him. I think Goblin just has to play a bit more defensively now, try and keep splash damage alive. And he is on 4 bases. He should not be in much of a rush to kind of take a fight. Sit back and let ByuN come to you. Like, use the Stalkers a little bit, sure. Again, the Medivacs are definitely in a little bit of trouble. There's only 2 of them. Goblin did a great job of shutting down Medivacs throughout this game. His target fire on those throughout has been very consistently good. There's no battery on this base, which is somewhat understandable because of the fact that we've obviously seen a game where, you know, Goblin's been the aggressor so much. This base has never really been under attack. We're going to see the Colossus getting dived on, but we do save it, pulls it back. Battery does the healing. I believe it's a Prism coming down the other side. I was going to say the Widow Mines did great already on that first round of Zealots. Another Widow Mine there helping to soften up. As we see the Stalkers hunting to try and find the Medivacs, which are just getting out to the left. Is there anything in the main base? A few Stalkers, yes, so we are in position. The low HP Medivac has a full cargo. And Goblin, he does get an eye on it, and ByuN turns around. He respects that. He is not going to try and dive into the main base. But now Goblin may be able to jump on that group of units. The units have unloaded again. We're going to blink forward, chasing for the Medivac. Another one goes to half HP. Goblin doing a great job of controlling this for the moment. 60 probes from Goblin, but he is mined out, and he's only on 4 gases. So, I say mined out. He's mined out from his main base is what I mean. So, I actually don't think 60 probes is all that terrible considering. You can see he's starting to oversaturate on this right side, not for long as this little bit of bio gets around him. Colossus kind of on its own, that doesn't seem to matter as we blink in, prioritizing the Medivacs to make sure there's no pickup and getaway micro. ByuN loses this chunk of the army, however, we're going to be back to the left-hand side. ByuN going to stim in here with those Medivacs from before. At the same time, Goblin is busy. He just got a massive warp into the main base of ByuN, so Zealots are going to get active. The Prism may go down. I don't think it matters. I think Goblin is absolutely denying this. The Medivacs can't go in the main. Goblin has Stalkers in position already. The bio is going to clean up in the main base, but yeah, the SCVs have already dropped. 17 workers going down. ByuN's economy to 34 workers at this stage. The Stalkers stay over to that left-hand side of the main. A couple Vikings going to come back through. Bio going to go after the Zealot. SCVs going to have to run away from the 3rd base as well as Goblin shows up with his main army over here. Man, it's such a scrappy game. Goblin keeps showing up with these armies that just, they don't have a lot of bulk to them, but you can understand why he's getting aggressive. Because ByuN doesn't have a lot of bulk to his army either. Colossus provide high ground vision as the Stalkers try to shoot for the kill on the 3rd base, and they will get it. No repair. Couple Zealots still in the main. As we do have ByuN gonna say, GG Goblin. He looked like he was in trouble in this game, but he actually brings it through to a victory, and Goblin continues to look good. Guys, current matches are going to be Goblin versus Spirit after this series, and then we go into all of the Spirit games following on from the Goblin Spirit game as well. So it is coming. As you have got in the bottom left-hand corner, the red Protoss player taking a 1-0 lead in this best of 3 in water performance. He is putting on for us today. So glad he qualified into this as well, beating Zaun in the process. So on a pretty good streak in this tournament, it is Goblin in the bottom left corner of the map. Top right, our blue Terran player is going to be ByuN. I really felt like ByuN was doing enough early. Goblin, actually very good in scrappy scenarios and able to kind of take a pretty low eco scenario. And it wasn't just low eco, but it was more so kind of just low unit counts. He was able to make it work well. And you know what he was so good at? He really did a great job defending against all the possibilities that ByuN came with for trying to dive into the main base of Goblin. You know, trying to hit the main base with the dropships and so on. Goblin just had Stalkers in position. He had Stalkers ready to go, and I think that was such a big deal. I think that was so important. I think if he didn't have those units in position, he would have been having a bad time. So, yeah, I actually think that was a very important note. Goblin didn't get carried away with, oh my goodness, I think this is his last attack, let's try and hold, and put everything on the low ground. Like, he had units prepped in the main base, and I think that was such a big factor. King pops out of that rack's going to go after the probe there, chase that down. And someone else who is not Clem plays Terran, they seem balanced again. Clem is like a little bit of a, I mean, he's very good right now. I'm not wrong. That Halston clip of him kind of mentioning Clem's micro hasn't been up to scratch today, then Clem micro is like a god against the units. The units around, man. I made that into a YouTube short, and that's popping off. And then they got a ton of views as a Twitch clip as well. Crazy. Hey guys, I actually have a little request from you guys. If you guys see an awesome play, or if you see something that you think's been really cool in the day, I'd love for you guys to clip it if you're watching on Twitch. I don't think that really exists on YouTube, but if you mention it in the chat as well, if you think something was like a really specifically sick play, I'd love to hear from you guys. I'm doing a bit of an effort to kind of collect notes of cool moments and stuff to maybe make into like shorts on YouTube and stuff, and some ideas there. But sometimes I get caught up in casting, so if you guys think there was something that was you know, impressively, like, you know, beyond expectation of being good, then please do let me know in the chat. Throw me the clip or so. I'd love to hear what you guys think is exciting as well, and help spread those awesome moments out to more people. Is the main goal of that. So I would love to be able to do that a little bit. If you guys want to help me with it, then yeah, let me know if you see anything awesome. He's gonna fight. Just gonna be seeing the adept getting taken out. Orbital command lifted up. A few Marines gonna come across, chase the adept down. Raven coming through. Blink is on the way up as well as the pylon continues into play. The couple of gates coming through also. Again, Goblin playing that Blink. Now, obviously last game he tried to play a 4-gate Blink, and he also played against a non-factory opening. So this game's extremely different, as this is a good deal so far, I think, actually, from... Yeah, I was going to say this is good for ByuN because it looked like he was going to save it. Wouldn't mind. He does save one, and the medevac stays alive while getting one worker each. Starport pulls over to the side. Just going to see the Prism and the Blink continuing up. So this is going to chase submarines. Actually going to get caught out of position here. They don't have stim or anything, so that's going to be a little bit of a concern in those early stages. Coming across and actually going to be seeing those Stalkers able to get into this mineralized. They're going to go for some SCVs. Actually only got the one before he gets kind of cornered in by the Marines. Stalker continues through, a couple more Stalkers setting up as well. Actually step up there and that bunker gets cancelled. Stalkers doing a good job of applying pressure. What I was trying to say before action kind of kicked off is that I actually thought this was going to be a very different game because I thought Goblin was only playing 3 gates, but he's actually playing 4. Obviously, it's still very different because ByuN's playing the factory style, so he's not going to be able to be as aggressive with the bio, which kind of set that last game off into a very interesting situation very quickly. He's going to shoot. Stalkers getting shot at. SCVs going down. More Stalkers lifting back up as well. Stalkers is going to be flinging back up into the main base. Going to be able to get the siege tank. There's a lot of bio though. Now the Stalkers do have a second form of blink essentially by using the prism to micro back in, and that's pretty good micro from Goblin. Now he lost quite a few initially just because of how aggressive the blink was. He's going to go for the siege tank before he leaves. Was that a bit too much? I think it was. A couple more Stalkers going down. First one attack going through. Marine Marauder coming about. Medivacs just to continue to come up. The Robobay on the way as well. The extra gates coming online. Prax is going to get back to the tech lab, drop down there. And we'll see combat shield starting as... Yeah, Goblin just lost a few too many Stalkers in the end, I think. He got 3 siege tanks with all of this aggression, so it's not been bad, but overall resource loss is very even. 11 Stalkers going down takes away a lot of his power for the next stage. If he was able to do a lot of that damage without losing as much, obviously, that really could have been amazing for him, which is kind of where I thought we were heading initially. We got halted a little bit on the way through. He's going to chase the prism around. We do have our bio just going to jump through. The Adept falls. Combat shield +1 still coming up as well. Rest the bio going to come joining out into the center. Prism gets around the back, ready to unload into that natural mineral line. We will see the few Stalkers unloading there and a couple of SCVs. Going to continue to come through. Widow Mine. Come through. Another Stalker pops. A couple Marines coming over as well. Let's get across to the left side from Goblin. The Medivacs coming over. Ghost Academy coming through. The extra Vikings in production. Unload into this main base. A couple of those probes already going to be in trouble. So this is where ByuN gets his chance to be aggressive. The probes decided not to pull his Goblin. Dying to his Sim City as well. The Stalker's got into the main quickly. Oh, he does get the full Medivac at least, so something of a benefit for him. He'll get a couple of SCVs in return on the other side of the map. He's not paying attention though, and the prism will go down, so all those units will die. The 2 SCVs, that honestly just was not good enough, right? A little bit of a shame right there, as now we have Goblin. His army otherwise looking good, but yeah, that was a lot of worker damage taken. 46 probes for him currently, as he will chase down this drop. Doesn't get the Medivac, but I got everything else. Might get the Medivac now, as it turned for a second. Yeah, he will get rid of it. Goblin's army supply is good. I think he's just sending it. Obviously, no probes in reproduction or anything along those guys. Colossus firing through. The cooling tower taking damage, so ByuN can use that to block off in a moment's notice. I like that idea. Fire army coming across. Observer gets killed. A couple Widow Mines going to burrow as well. Oh, nice EMP. Goes, walks down the ramp. EMPs, runs to join the main army. like that Goblin has the Zealots on the right side too, but attacking up a ramp into this is obviously going to be a little bit dangerous and a little bit difficult. Well, Zealots warp in. We are going to knock down the cooling tower. A couple of Widow Mines on the right. Getting in position as well. Stalkers are going to step up, and they're going to start to work their way through a set of rocks here. Zealots are going to get there as well. He's going to start to work his way through those rocks, open up this space. And Goblin now has gone back into pro production, building 4 at a time, but he was significantly behind on workers for a little bit, so definitely scary. ByuN building his 4th base on that low ground. That's something I actually think we could cancel as Goblin if you really wanted to kind of move into position there. Even with the Colossus just at range, might be able to just get the SCV and delay it a little bit. Kind of a wild place to build your CC. I mean, the Bio Army is going to be here to step up. Going to use the CC as a little bit of a natural choke point as well, I suppose. Big question mark is going to be, can these Vikings do enough against the Colossus? The Zealots running in from the right-hand side, but as they run in from that right-hand side, they are going to find themselves hit by some Widow Mines, and they don't really go through for much. I mentioned that 4th CC being in some danger. It's going to drop very low, not finished yet. Yeah, just has to protect that a little bit as the Bio continuing to sit tight. Going to knock a set of rocks down on this area as well. Take those out. Back to the top, and that's an SCV that will also go down. The Ghost going to fire up another shot. A scan comes through. Vikings going to chase for the Colossus. Stalkers will blink to get some of the Vikings as they go after the Colossus there. Temple Archive is building. It's going to be a while until Storm is available, but you can maybe add some Archons on. Didn't realize it didn't have extended thermal lance, so missing that Colossus range, they've had to get so close to be impactful. That puts them in so much more danger. With that Colossus range, probably might have had a bit of a better time here. 4th base did finish, and the Zealots are going to go over to say hello to that CC immediately. As, can we get something over there to deal with that? The Zealots just going to be left on that high ground for the moment. Again, running as a Protoss is never a fun thing, especially as the Vikings start to chase the Colossus down, but we do get quite a few of the Vikings again. We've actually killed like 6 Vikings so far. Okay, 4 Vikings have died, and he's only killed 1 Colossus. It's a pretty good effort from Goblin. Yeah, pretty good effort to only lose 1 Colossus and to keep on getting so many of those Vikings. Staying present on the map, taking a 5th base, ByuN not finding a chance to drop behind this. Storm +2 on the way up from Goblin as well as he progresses his position in the game. Again, his work count may not be the best at 67 to the 60, but I like a lot of the rest of this right now. Bio comes around the right side. And of course, ByuN not able to take a 4th just yet. Goblin trying to take another base, double expanding essentially. Just trying to, extend his lead massively in this moment. He's doing a lot, right? Because he's building Storm, he's building +2, he's getting additional bases online. Goblin doing a lot at the same time here to get settled in. Now just backing it up as ByuN's army is pretty sizable too. This is where Goblin can maybe just allow himself to play more defensive. He's already done a lot in this game. Eats some EMPs. He's on a very Zealot-heavy army, but there's the first Storm coming down the ramp. It's going to be really good for him. So first Storm is extremely good. That's going to deny ByuN being able to keep the pressure up, being able to keep on moving forwards. That's a fantastic moment for Goblin as he turns back around. I tell you what, so many Vikings having to be made as well means the medevacs are not on the healthiest of energy. And that army keeps on moving, so it's not being able to regenerate HP just yet. That's a factor as well, especially when splash damage like Storm and Colossus are in play. Turning around here, and ByuN trying to be super patient on his stim. Finally drops it as he realizes, okay, my opponent is committing into me. I don't know how much I love that from Goblin. He's in a position where he's not really able to use his Storms. He's pretty rich, but yeah, with 1 Colossus and Storms not joining in, I do not think that was quite the fight he was maybe hoping it would be. He's still in a great spot. The 4th base is still yet to land. It's still not morphed into anything as well, so no 4th. Still from ByuN, 14.5 minutes in. He probably gets that up now. And Goblin's position base-wise probably does keep him in a very good spot overall, I think. Probably keeps him in a position to play, just because obviously he did lose a lot a couple of times. Again, Goblin has a lot of bases himself currently. I am worried about his army quality. It is very Stalker Zealot heavy. A couple of High Templars and Storms available, but I'd love to see that Colossus count regrow, and I would have loved to see a second Robo facility to rebuild the Colossus more quickly. or even go into disruptors perhaps, if that's something he feels like he maybe wants to switch into. That should be a possibility as well. This side Templar just looking for kind of a stray storm, and he gets it onto a group of bio units, hurts them, obviously keeps draining medevac energy. Going to get a good dive to the top right. ByuN's very out of position to deal with this. This fresh new 4th base, he's just going to go jump on it. Oh, Zealot Stalker, damage output being halted a little bit there as the SCV repair comes through. I think we recall. He's going to lose some Zealots to the recall. The Colossus is going to get out alive. I don't hate it. That's essentially like a group of Zealots going down for the 4th base. And the 4th base is so important for ByuN because he's so late to the 4th base. He doesn't have replacement CCs. He's got to move his main orbital in position there. Oh, I love that as well. We've seen Goblin be so good at shutting down medevacs today. He gets 2 out of the 3 on that group of units. He just needs to be careful. ByuN's army is massive, and Goblin's is not. Goblin needs to make sure he keeps on spending his money. He's adding on disruptors, though. He's got storms. He's got units that make it very difficult for him to die if ByuN attacks, and that's basically what he needs to make it difficult for ByuN to commit to an attack here, but I don't know why we're stepping forwards. He needs to be while I'm stepping back. A couple storms were a little bit far away as well. The disruptor shot a bit too far out. I think Goblin is not taking a good fight. He eats the EMP as well, so the High Templars have no energy left. Another storm that does not really land dead center enough, and I think ByuN's just going to win it on pure sheer unit numbers, on a replacement 4th that came from his main. Goblin just needed to take a couple more fights and draw him out, but he's not able to do that, and ByuN is going to win game 2 on pretty much one of the last attempts he was going to have in this game, because if he doesn't win it on this, like I say, the 4th base is an orbital from the main. The economy is not there for ByuN for the long term. Goblin could not land the splash damage he needed to make up for the army supply deficit. And like I say, he was setting up to play an army that could play so well defensively. Fighting in the middle of the map a little bit, kind of doing that little bit weird step back and forwards was costly. And then I think because of that, he panicked. And because he panicked, he dropped the storms too soon. He dropped the disruptor shot from the edge too soon. He made a lot of mistakes in quick succession from that point as the Zealots will come forward again. Stalkers come up from the bottom. I mean, doing what they can, trying to make this a trade. He's down 80 army supply, though. I mean, we've got to be realistic at some point, right? He's going to lose these bases. He's try and expand in the bottom right as well, but yeah. His army was not made to take one big fight all at once. He needed the splash damage to hit and kind of slow it down. It's up in the center. ByuN going to come around a couple of different sides. And keep on trading out, but Goblin's going to say GG's as ByuN is going to tie this up 1-1 in this best of 3. As Goblin and ByuN go in the distance. Good match so far. As in the bottom left, it is going to be our Blue Terran player, ByuN. Bringing it back in that game. Really had to make it happen with that one big army that he built up. Top right, our Red Protoss player, Goblin. Some fun games today. Fun games today. Not even halfway through after this. Goblin versus Spirit is looking like it's going to be a very important one in this group. And then after that, we're going to have the rest of the Spirit games. We've not seen anything from Spirit so far. We still have ByuN Rogue and Rogue Classic to cast. Going to be fun. Goblin will scout with his initial probe here, taking a step up. I go back to being worried for Goblin in the early minutes of the game. I do think that's why ByuN can absolutely just ruin his day before it even gets started, basically. I mean, we saw in the first game and the second game as well. Honestly, like both games, Goblin has not really been off to the best of starts. He's been able to bring it back with some scrappy and some cool plays. See if he can change that storyline for game 3 here. Probe gets out to the upper right. Getting back home. The Ripper is on the map, of course, and we'll play the chasing game. In-depth chases, Reaper taking some damage. Probe going to take us a few shots. Reaper wall off, but has to put the Twilight Cancel on that pylon, so you see the Twilight, you can assume the blink. Goblin's gone for it twice in a row already, now a third time. Henriset, thank you so much for the 17-month resub on the Prime. Welcome back, appreciate it. Adep causes some disruption, then steps away. Blink building from Goblin. Gonna go 4 gates again, wow. Really sticking to that 4-gate blink then. He's been doing that a lot today against ByuN. Going to be very interesting to see if Goblin plays very differently against Spirit, like if he continues to play 4-gate blink or what his plan will be in general. Back and +1, continuing to come by. Blink still building, Prism on the way up. Stalkers get back together, hanging around. Peter Kana, thank you so much for the Prime sub as well. Appreciate it. Thank you, as our Stalkers continue to gather. The bunker building, the tech lab on the way from ByuN as well. Observer and a couple more probes on the way out. Keeping the StarCraft scene alive, love it. Hell yeah. Thank you so much for helping though. Don't do it without you guys as our Stalkers. They're ready to hop into this main base. There's an SCV, there's a depot there. ByuN's going to show up. Stim just now finished. We try to chase for Marauder initially. That Prism Micro has to be on point, and yeah, pretty good get in. 5 SCVs, a depot, Marauder, and then we get back down the low ground. I believe we didn't lose a single Stalker there on that first attack, so great micro so far. Now we go into the natural expansion where our bunker will be in trouble immediately. We can blink back again, still no Stalker lost. Yep, continues to blink back the hurt ones, so making sure that that doesn't become too much of an issue. Bio continuing to trade. The SCVs now surrounding that bunker. Remember, this was once again that 3-rack setup, so no factory-based defense here. One Stalker has now gone down. But the blink SCVs were not repairing immediately, which means I actually think we could have killed it. He stepped away. Yeah, he kind of stepped away just as I think he could have just tapped it one more time. Maybe loses a Stalker, but yeah, I think he could have had the bunker there. This time hits an SCV before he hits the bunker. Gets a Marine as well. A couple more shots. This time the bunker does indeed die. We obviously continue to kite back. You can't stim repeatedly here because you don't have the healing of Medivacs to really help you out, right? If you stim, you're extremely committed. Stalkers get another shot or so off. Blinking back. Warp Prism. Zenub over on the sides is maybe going to be found. Now there's the Medivacs to try and save the day. We will see the Prism holding back a little bit. The other Stalker units coming through. Couple of shots continue out. We blink away once more. Goblin going to get out of there. We do have a charge upgrade building from Goblin as we speak. Extended thermal lance building now from Goblin. Into the main base, we're going to see a couple of Zealots begin to drop. A little bit of Bio gets there as well. 2 more Vikings coming up. Combat shield and +1 armor. Stalker step through and a couple of Marines begin to take some damage. Another Bio shot or 2 coming out. Stalker's taking hits. Another Marine goes down. Come back out to the right-hand side. This army of Goblin continues to make moves. Continues to look for ways. Potentially deal damage. A 4th base from Goblin sets up in the center. Three SCVs going down. We're going to get a Marauders. We escape out of there. I do feel like this has been pretty good. We lose 1 more Stalker. The only issue I have is that Goblin is really not building many probes, but maybe that's okay because he's going to commit to an attack here. It's a lot of Zealots. Only 1 Colossus that doesn't have range as well. You have to be careful with that. ByuN will utilize the command center as a choke point here to minimize what the Zealots can do. Vikings already going after the Colossus. We do shoot 2 of those Vikings down. Get some medevac as well. I'll tell you what, Goblin's been really good target firing with the Stalkers all day today. He's been absolutely excellent. Should save that Colossus though. He saves it. And not just does he save it, but he's actually going to continue to chase this army down. I mean, the Colossus will work on SCVs. The Zealots on the bio. Mines do get burrowed. The Zealots will go down, but we can reinforce with a warp in the Zealots here. As Goblin continues to push out the front. The Colossus regenerating some shields. I mean, the Prism is right there for the warp-in as well. Reinforcement Colossus must have stayed at home. Or is it only just now popping out? No, there's 2 at home. So 2 Colossus back at home as well. As we do see the bio continue to chase in. 1 Widowmine goes down. The other Widowmine will connect with good split away on that Zell. We continue to chase the SCVs off of this base. Goblin leading by 20 supply at the moment. Knocked down so many of the tech units from his opponent. The Medevacs and Vikings all died. He's now bringing 2 Colossus across the map. He's winning this without his major tech unit reinforcements. Once they arrive, this might become unwinnable for ByuN. 3 Colossus, you've got 1 Viking in the sky. You do have Marauders, but 3 Colossus of firepower should be pretty good there. There's Orbital taking a lot of hits. ByuN doesn't have a ton of money. Having to repair it consistently is costing him money to A, repair, and B, to obviously have the SCVs off the mineral line. They're the 2 new Colossus, and as they arrive, ByuN has no option but to say GG, and Goblin is going to improve to 3-0 on the day. Drops a map to ByuN, but he's going to be through this group. He's going to make the playoffs.